got that wanderlust, yeah, we're on the move. Budget-friendly adventures we approve. Crazy travels and Chango bananas, here to show you all the best vacation manners. So pack your bags, let's get out the door. Come and follow us to see the world and more. We ain't scared to travel. We ain't scared to travel.
What's going on, guys? It's Crazy Cantu from Crazy Travels.
This is Chango Bananas,
And we ain't scared to travel. That's right. Welcome to our second episode of We Ain't Scared to Travel. First episode, go back and check it out, man. We introduced ourselves. We talked about how we started, how we broke off our shell, how, we ain't scared, and how we got to see the world.
Yes, that first video kind of gave us a little bit of insight, gave you guys a little bit of insight of what we're wanting to do, our goals, right? We want you to travel. That's the most important thing, right? We get stuck in this day to day travel.
Same vacation,
Yes.
same routine. Well, it's because I got to go back to work. And, man, we talked about how we got to see the world. Now, the definition of the world is going to vary from person to person. I haven't seen his world. His world was, give me a list of all the places that you've been to.
Well, I love to travel. Been to Mexico, been to United States, Europe. We did that. We've gone to Europe a couple times. London, from Italy, Greece, Paris. What was it? Amsterdam, Belgium. And then here in the States, pretty much a lot of states.
You see that long list of all the places that he got to see because he broke off his shell, right? For example, in my case, I've been to the ball drop in New York City. From here to there, to actually see the ball drop, crazy. New Year's Eve celebration, London, England. NFL football game, London, England. What's that stadium where Queen played? It'll come to me.
Yeah.
But to be able to go see a football game in London, England, an NFL, to watch your childhood favorite team play in London, England, to go to Paris, to go to the Eiffel Tower, not the one in Vegas, but the actual Eiffel Tower, to see it blink at night, all over Italy, all over Spain, to see, where Barcelona Football Club plays, to go to Yankee Stadium,
Yes, sir.
to go to Red Sox Stadium,
To take
to
take my son and myself to my son's first football game.
and to get plenty of autographs.
Yeah.
And so, you see, we're talking about the places that we've been to that we said, hey, let's try them. And this is what we're trying to do. I don't know what your definition of your world is. Our definition of our world is different because I don't want to go to Asia. I don't want to go to Japan. Maybe he does. But, we still branch off and we still see, and our worlds are going to be different. But to see the world, to say that I've seen the world. I've gone on flights overseas. You've done it too, right?
Yes, sir.
And there's people out there that are I don't know, I got 40 hours of vacation. Well, we can coach you on how to make the most out of your vacation, how to use holiday off, how to use the wraparound weekends, stuff like that to make your vacation time. You use less of your vacation time, and then have more vacation time.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point, Crazy, that you want to avoid sometimes going when it's packed. You want to avoid, what I'm going to is you want to travel sometimes when there's an off season, right?
Oh yeah, you're gonna save money.
And you're gonna save a lot of money. Those lines you're not gonna be 100 deep, right? You're gonna have 5-6 people in front of you. And a lot of those businesses also take advantage of tourists, right?
And you can also buy the the early. You go online and you're like, hey, I want the 8 o'clock time frame, and you buy that. And again, man, I talked about it on the last video where you can go to Groupon's, you can go online, search, Viator, TripAdvisor, read the reviews. What are people talking online? YouTube, social media. Where are these guys getting all their deals?
And then sometimes, like for me, I'm a sucker for national parks. I love national parks. Right, talking about seeing the world. For me, the world is traveling sometimes in the States.
And if you're an educator, if you're a law enforcement, a first responder, you're someone who does there might be some deals out there that, hey, educators get 20% off or what have you. And I'm throwing a crazy number out there. It might be more, it might be less, or it might even be free.
Yes, for sure. I know, like even the national parks, if you're a veteran, you get the entrance for free, right? And also for state parks, some people, like I said, some people exploring the world, getting to know the world, could be Dubai, could be Japan, could be, I don't know, Maldives, something like that. But I think a lot of times people are afraid to get out of that shell. And especially crazy because you go to Asia, yeah, they might speak some English, but at least for me, when I travel, I feel way more confident when I'm traveling and to a country that they're going to understand me.
Yeah.
If I run out of English, I can use my Spanish. If I run out of Spanish, I can use my English.
Yeah.
So that's helped me out a lot in the sense. Instead of going somewhere, let's say in Thailand or Japan, where the English is not their forte, and then you have to kind of like get signs and everything. So, what do you think about that? Crazy.
Yeah, well, you're always, and plus you have your cell phone, so you can use translator. But the majority of the places that you're going to, they're gonna speak English.
Mm-hmm.
English is, I guess, neutral language where everyone uses English. You do want to learn some little words here and there, but I think the most important thing is to say, okay, I want to, if you're going to want to go, for example, he talks about Japan, right? Okay, what are some of the customs? I don't want to be disrespectful. And I also want to kind of fend for myself. If all I'm asking for is a drink, kind of like India Maria and do the coffee and donuts, you know what I mean? But, have an idea, hey, I'm going to go to this country. What are they eating? How do I go about asking? Because yes, you've gone to a Japanese restaurant and you've had this food or that, but the menus are in English. And so kind of have an idea, okay, if I want to ask for this dish, how do I go about asking for this dish?
And especially like, you're right, the customs. But then like one time I went to Mexico City. So you have to be on top of your game. You have to be, hey, let me put my passport here. Let me hide here. Let me put extra money here. Let me have that. Hey, you don't want to spend the money somewhere. You want to be knowledgeable if you're gonna venture, take that first step, or you want to come out of your safe space. You're Riverwalk, you're Dallas, you're Austin, you're South Padre Island, right? That's one of the purposes that we want to give you those advices where, hey, look out for this.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things you told me. I still remember crazy when you told me, hey, be careful at the Eiffel Tower. Be careful in Paris, be careful here in London, all that stuff. I remember that.
He's talking about pickpocketers.
Yes.
And gypsies and travelers.
Yes.
These guys, not your, tourists, but the gypsy travelers. Their job is to scam. Their job is to steal. And although he's talking about pickpocketers and all that, it shouldn't discourage you. It should just keep you alarmed. For example, took off his fanny pack. He had a fanny pack, and we were joking around about it. I should take it off before I do the show. Now, why would you travel with a fanny pack? Because the zipper is in front of you. You have control over it. Whether you put it in front of you or you put it right here on your waistband, you have control of your belongings. You always, if you're going to be, for example, if I'm in Rome, right, and I'm in Rome for the week, my passport is in the safe, in the hotel safe. or it's in my luggage, it's inside the luggage, and then there's a lock. And then I have petty cash, which is like maybe 60 euros. I have my credit card, a debit card, my maybe a driver's license, a form of ID, and it's going to be in my front pocket. And or I'm going to have my purse, my what do you call those messenger bags?
Yes.
I love messenger bags. I don't care what anybody says. I love the messenger bag because I got to flip it open, and then I got to open the zipper, and then I got to open another zipper to get to my money, to get to whatever it is that I want, that I have in, to be a credit card, debit card, or, my ID, right? But it's going to be, I got to go through many steps to get to it. So if I have to go through many steps to get to it, and I have it in front of me, there's no way that a pickpocket is going to take it from me. And these are things that we want to, coach you on, that be prepared to have these things, have petty cash, have a credit card that doesn't have, what do you call it, overseas fees or whatever you call it.
Yes, yeah, for sure. I always use my credit card when I don't feel safe in an area, or I feel like they're gonna, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable taking out my cash. And one of the things is also talking about traveling the world.
You're protected.
You're protected, yes, exactly. And it's happened to me even traveling here in the States, right? Where I don't feel a little bit comfortable, the place is a little bit shady, kind of have to stop, pick up something. But, like I said, we're going to traveling the world, even if it means traveling here in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you go. What matters is that you see a different place. That you get every year, see a different place. Even if it's the hill country. Well, I've never been to Luckenbach. Well, go to Luckenbach. Go out there and check it out. Go do a weekend trip. Try something different. Go to New Orleans. Crazy, but they said the bourbon smells. Does it smell? Maybe. But guess what? The street performers are awesome. The bars, the whole bourbon, the restaurants,
The culture.
the culture, to see something different, to experience something different. Man, it is really nice to go to a different city and to be like, wow, this is really cool. I would have never done that had I listened to someone who told me not to.
And then I know a lot of times Nashville is one of those cities that people like to go to because it's an easy flight, it's available. But outside of Nashville, there's a smaller town. You got Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge,
Pigeon
Smoky
Forge,
Mountains.
Smoky Mountains. Man, if you've never been to the Smoky Mountains, you are missing out on an awesome, awesome vacation. I didn't know that he was, he liked Gatlinburg and Smoky Mountains and Pigeon Forge, Saraville. Man, one of the best vacations you'll ever take because it really, without leaving the States, you feel like you're in a German town.
Yes. And also, I know a lot of people like to go to Cancun and the prices have skyrocketed to go out there, fly out there. One of the things also we shared with our experiences is a small town at the Emerald Coast in Florida, Destin.
8:30. Yeah.
Destin.
Destin, I would have never known about Destin had he not told me. I had a surprise, well, not a surprise party, but I had a party for my wife over in New Orleans. And I invited him and his wife, and I said, hey, y'all come over. We're going to have a party, and it'll be nice. And we're going to have the whole, Mardi Gras thing with the mask. And he talked about, hey, tomorrow I got to wake up and do the drive to Destin. And he told me about Destin. And I went out to Destin. Destin is by far one of the best beaches, man. It is similar to the Caribbean, to, Grand Cayman Island, to Jamaica, to Bahamas, and it's a whole lot cheaper.
But wait, why would you say it's a city? Crazy? Have you been to those places?
I've been to those places and they're great and they're beautiful. And a lot of people think like, oh my God, I gotta go to, to see crystal clear water. I gotta go to, Jamaica or to
Bahamas.
Atlantis, Bahamas, and all you really have to do is do a 14-hour drive to Destin, to Pensacola, to Panama City Beach.
Yeah.
Crazy, but I've heard that Panama City Beach is expensive. Well, guess what? You can stay in Panama City, get a really nice hotel,
Yes.
Panama City, do the drive, buy yourself a $15 umbrella, bring your little cooler with your drinks, your hoagie, whatever it is, your picnic, and go to the public beach. Go to St. Andrews. St. Andrews is like $12 to enter St. Andrews, and you get snorkeling, you get a beautiful beach, and you get showers, restrooms, all of that, and it's only half an hour. You're already doing it here to drive an hour and a half to, the island, San Pedro Island, and it's murky, and there really isn't much to do. So imagine you do a 14-hour drive to Panama City, and then Panama City, you get a hotel for $90, $80, a really good Hilton, and then you do your 30-minute drive every single day to go to Panama City Beach. You take a shower in the public the public showers, and then you get dressed up and you go have a nice meal over at Panama City Beach.
Yes.
There's just so many things that you can do if you break off and you aren't afraid to travel. Guys, this channel, Crazy Cantu and Crazy Travels,
Channel One Dallas, right?
and we ain't scared to travel. That's right. We ain't scared to travel, and we want you to break off your shell and not be afraid to travel. That's what we want to do. This is why we're ranting and getting all excited, because we love travel. And we talk about our little world. We talk about, hey, so-and-so said this, For example, you talked about Nashville, right? Everybody talks about Broadway. Broadway is where people who buy their boots the day before and buy their little hats go to become a cowboy for the day. If you really want Nashville, you gotta go to the Palace. You gotta go to Music City Grill. You gotta go to the Opry. You have to get a rental and drive to Chattanooga for the day. You gotta get a rental and go to Lynchburg. Go to the Jack Daniel's distillery. It's only an hour away. But what happens with a lot of people is that they have the Vegas mentality where, well, I'm just gonna fly in and I'm gonna stay downtown and I'm just gonna go downtown, and yeah, it's cool to go to Alan Jackson's bar, or to go to Kid Rock's and go honky tonking and all the little honky tonks. But all you're doing is drinking, and you're missing out on the Grand Ole Opry. You're missing out on historic Ryman Auditorium. You're missing out on Music City Road, where the studios are at. And that's one of the things that I love about this guy, is that everywhere he goes, he's out sightseeing. He sees the real world and not just a little touristic little part where, I went to no, you didn't. I went to Mexico, Cancun. No, you stayed in a American hotel,
Yes.
or you stayed in a European hotel, and you didn't go to the cenotes. You didn't, tell me a little bit about Cancun.
You know what? When we first went to Cancun back in the day, or back, it's almost 8 years. The first time I went, it was nice, but I've always liked to explore the small towns. I've always liked to go. I don't want anyone to come and tell me what it is. So one of the first times we went was we flew into Cancun. We rented a vehicle, and then we went exploring the small towns, all of Puertos, which was really nice. And we went down to Tulum. Then you have your Bacalar, which is the border with Belize, right? And this was before it's on the hype now.
Yeah.
And it was people were so sincere. I saw another view of Mexico in that region that was just beautiful. Some of the things you hear about Mexico, oh, don't go here, don't go there. You're kind of going with
Yeah.
fear. And then when I explored it, which I already had some experience in Mexico, but going to a whole different region, it was nice. You know, we went out there, we went out snorkeling, we went swimming with some whale sharks, parasailing. That was really nice. And I took that step crazy because going back to it, I was talking to you, picking your brain per se,
Yeah.
right?
And so I am an American. I was born and raised in the United States of America. God bless America. I love America. And I am one of those guys that is a little scared to go to Mexico. Yes, I'm Hispanic. Yes, my mother was born and raised in Mexico. But, I fall prey to those, what the national media is saying. And so what you have to do is you really have to, go to what exactly is the travel alerts. Go to the actual travel page and say, okay, what are the alerts? Where do I need to stay away from? And then talk to people and say, hey, you went here. What did you do? Where did you go? Right. So when I went to Punta Cana, right, I went to Santo Domingo. I went. I think I went swimming with the sharks. And I did a boat ride. I did a bunch of excursions where I actually left the resort because they sell you this resort and it's unlimited food, unlimited drinks, and you're thinking, gee, Jesus, pues if I leave, pues I'm gonna pay for a meal.
Yeah.
But did you really see Punta Cana? Did you really see, the Dominican Republic?
And I'm gonna chime in real quick. When I don't know which resort it was, one of the first times I went, where I had the option to not have everything included. So I pretty much just paid to save myself money, right? Because I was waking up in the morning going to excursions, but then when I was going to excursions, I was talking to the driver.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you recommend? Te recomiendo esto. Go here, go there. So I would go back after this excursion, and then I would go, and we had the rental.
Yeah.
So we would just go into town. And it was weird because even though we're Hispanics of Mexican descent, right? We look Hispanics, we look Mexicans, but being there, it was weird because people knew that you were not from there. But they were welcome.
Yeah.
Welcoming, right?
There's always going to be, and fear is good because you want that yin yang. You don't want the super macho guy, and then all of a sudden, something crazy happens, and say, oh, now it's really going to catch you. So you want someone to be like, hey, wait a minute, be careful. Let's find out. Let's ask before we go. Let's find out what time they close. Let's find out if we need to come back home early, right? There's always going to be some sort of, hey, you guys need to be back by a certain time because it does get you, right? But hey, man, as long as you come back, you're still going to get to sightsee. You're still going to get to do a bunch of stuff and see the world. And we keep going back to the world.
Yes.
The world is huge, and there's so many things to do. There's so many food to try. There's a lot of stuff that we can do that even I'm scared sometimes. I don't know if I want to try that. I got a flight tomorrow, and I do not want to be on a, however many hour long flight or at the airport, and
Yes.
And so sometimes you do have to be careful because you either have a road trip coming up, or you have a flight, or maybe you went out for a medical procedure and you're doing like double dipping. You're gonna sightsee, but you're like, hey man, I need to go back early because I got a medical procedure and I've got to make sure that I'm ready to go and I don't miss that because that's the main reason for going on this trip. And I mean, you've been on work-related trips.
Yes.
And one of the really cool things about work-related trips is that you get to double dip, and on your
Yes.
days off, you can sightsee.
Sir.
So tell me a little bit about what stuff that you've taken advantage of.
So for me, I try to get work trips. One of them was I was out there a month in Washington or West Virginia, right? And if you guys haven't gone out there, Virginia, DC area, Baltimore, there's a lot of history that we sometimes oversee because we think exploring the world is Dubai,
Yeah.
Paris, London. No, we have so much history in this beautiful country that I take advantage of that. Also, one time I was in Tucson. I had never been to Arizona. Actually, I'm lying. We went to the Grand Canyon, but
Okay.
I was in Tucson, the South area,
Yeah.
and I ended up going to Phoenix. I'd never been to Phoenix. Picked up a baseball game, and then that was kind of, you know what? I like this town. It's
Yeah.
a bigger city, has its stuff here and there. But we actually just came back from Phoenix, from the Flagstaff area, Scottsdale. Beautiful, beautiful.
If
stuff
you
out
ever go back to Tucson, old Tucson Studios where they used to film the Western movies.
there. Okay.
Oh my goodness, it's really neat. It's a really neat little town, and that's where they filmed all of the Western movies, and even Tres Amigos and The Duke.
Okay. There.
All of his films were, or if not all, the majority of the films were filmed there, and so it's really neat.
And see that information. This is why we're here. This is why we're here, because those little details that,
Well, I didn't know that it was there. I had no idea. Oh my goodness.
yes, there
You know, and it's all about talking to someone. It's all about breaking off your shell and not being nosy, but including yourself in the conversation. If you're in line waiting for the museum to open or the park to open, or you're waiting in line to eat, maybe you're on a cruise and so is talking and saying, well, tomorrow we're going to cenotes. We bought this excursion. Hey man, I don't mean to be rude, or nosy, but I overheard you say that you got this excursion. Where did you get it? How much did you pay? Oh, you got that website? Oh wow, how much? And you paid that much? How did you go about paying that much or that less? And
Do you remember that cruise we took to the Bahamas?
Yeah.
It was Key West, Bahamas, and we were talking, we were listening, and they have the excursions from the cruises, but then you can get down, and I think for like a really cheap price, we're able to go to around the city.
yeah.
There,
So we got off. I don't remember if it was over in Key West where someone told us that, hey, you can go and get a taxi driver and have him drive you around, or you can buy an excursion outside your cruise. And so we did that. Him and I went and talked to the taxi driver, and we haggled. And this is where the Hispanic part, the Mexican part of us came out and regateamos. Hey, is that the best you can do? Look, it's I think it was my mother-in-law, my mother, my wife, myself.
my whole family.
Yeah, and what was, gosh, a newborn.
Yes.
So it was about maybe almost 10 of us. So this guy, I think it was $30 per person. He took us to the market, and then he took us out to eat, and then he took us to a private beach.
That was really nice. That part of the beach was really nice.
And we're in the Bahamas, and this is what I want you to get from this, is that when you think Bahamas, you think expensive and all this, and a lot of these countries, they're little Mexicos. They're little, he joked around when we were going to the private beach that, bueno, nos vamos a acostar. And we were laughing, and I was like, man, it looked like we were going to the ranch, because it looked really like, holy smokes. And but we got there, and it was beautiful, beautiful water, beautiful little beach. It was our little private beach, and it cost us $30 per person.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. There was no tourists. There was nothing. That's one of the big. My daughter still talks about that, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was in Nassau, right? If I'm not
No,
mistaken.
Freeport.
Freeport, yes.
Freeport, Bahamas, and then the next port was Atlantis. Nassau, which I went to Atlantis, and you did the Queens. You went on your own.
Yeah.
He did a walking tour, which was really cool. Now, look, this is what I want you to get from this little conversation
Yes.
that we're having, is that I did the commercial. I did Atlantis. Why? Because I saw it on TV. Because you see the water slide, you see the Atlantis, and yes, it was beautiful. Yes, it was nice. but he explored NASA. He went out there walking. He went to the Queen Steps. He went to the market, and he saw the actual town. And I went to a commercial hotel slash water park,
Yeah, water park.
casino, and then it had its own little beach that was kind of cool. And then outside of their beach was the real beach. So I didn't even get to go to the beach. So it was like, did I really, like, what did I do? I paid $100, which was okay, but it felt weird. And then I had to rush back to come back to the port because you gotta get back on your ship. I don't regret it. It was awesome. I got to see Atlantis. You know, I don't know if he has the same mindset that, well, I didn't get to go to Atlantis, but he got to see, you know, NASA
And the
Paradise Beach.
So everywhere I visit, I love to see the culture, right? Because it's part of that community. It's part of what makes it good. It's part of what makes you want to visit that place, you know. But we don't have all the answers, but we are ready to share our experiences. Where hey, you want to go here, we'll go
Yeah.
there. That's what we're here for. The doctors,
Crazy can't too,
Changuanadas.
and we ain't scared to travel. Again, we want you guys to do more than us, to see the world, man. Keep following us, man. We got more videos coming.
And leave your comments, right? And we'll talk about
Yeah, whatever
wherever
you
wanna
guys
go.
want to talk about, next video, following video, you name it, we're always open for suggestions because we ain't scared to travel and we don't want you to be
Got
scared to
that
travel.
wanderlust, yeah, we're on the move. Budget-friendly adventures we approve. Crazy travels and Chango bananas. Here to show you all the best vacation manners. So pack your bags, let's get out the door. Come and follow us to see the world and more. We ain't scared to travel.